the biggest ratings in the history of CNN. Biggest. They cover wars, they cover. How about the next debate is with CNN? I won't do the debate unless they pay me $5 million, all of which money goes to the wounded warriors or go to vets.
Another day, another news cycle dominated by Donald Trump. Another instance where we mere mortals are left to decide whether he was just kidding or whether a little friendly arm-tugging that some might consider political extortion is a big deal. Just when we thought the man couldn't go any further in his outlandish diatribes, the reality show star proves us wrong, and here we are feeding from the trough because the public demands it. Let's sally forth then into this edition of The Political Animal. Feed from the trough of truth, justice, the American way, and a side dish of how fast can we get to November 2016 and end the madness. He's the former director of FEMA, now the afternoon drive talker every weekday at 6:30 KHOW along the Colorado Rockies, Michael Brown, joined by the senior political contributor at Forbes, co-host of Steele and Ungar on Sirius XM, Rick Ungar. All righty, gentlemen, welcome in. Let's get right to it. Mike, is he joking or is he just trying to go ahead and drive it home to CNN? What's the real deal here from the Donald?
I don't know. I need my hat of Karnak the Great to figure this one out. You used the word extortion, and I got to tell you, Ed, that was the first word that came to my mind when I heard this. I won't come on your show or do your debate unless you pay $5 million, and then I will give that to wounded warriors. Wait a minute. What? I'm speechless.
Well, but let's stop there for a second, get it over to Rick. Rick, exactly as I said to, the man says these things. He could just be joking to say it out loud, but regardless of whether he's joking or not, he gets coverage and he drives people to want to vote for him every single time he opens his mouth. Yeah, it's inescapable, Rick.
I want to know how much he's prepared to pay the media for making him possible. I mean, we've done this. This is all our fault. So if he wants $5 million out of CNN, which I hope they won't give him, because I'd love to see a debate without him insulting people, we might actually learn what these candidates stand for. I hope he's prepared to write a big check that we'll give to wounded warriors for everything we've done for him.
I would just want to think the man has a lot of money. Donate the $5 million yourself. But then again, that's just me. Yeah. Silly me. Let's take that out of the mix. Okay. Rick, to you on debates here. The Washington Examiner maybe had the best headline I've seen. The Democrats' pathetic debate schedule. And this goes back just a couple of weeks. Wait a minute now. Let me check. Your next debate, is it just possible, Rick, could they might have put it on December 17th, opening night of Star Wars? Maybe that would have been better.
You know what? I actually once asked the question, are we going to have a debate on December 32nd? Is that on the schedule? It's outrageous what's happened here. The debates are all scheduled on Saturday nights, on holidays, at times when people are guaranteed not to watch.
Well, that's when all the young kids are gone. The Democrats are going after the youth vote. Guess what? On the weekends, everybody's out.
Yeah, guess what? Kids aren't going to tune in on a Saturday night to watch a debate. It's outrageous. What Wasserman Schultz did here, as a Democrat, I find profoundly offensive. I've been very open and vocal on it, both on my radio show, on television. It's terrible. She did it to protect Hillary, but what she forgot is that Hillary can protect herself just fine. Hillary's a pretty darn good debater. Why she'd want to keep that from the public is beyond me, but this is not somebody who is benefiting our political party.
All right, let me bounce back to the right here, come back to you, Michael Brown, and I want to get back to the people who perhaps could beat Donald Trump, because let's talk about, those other guys. They do happen to be there. Do you see this as many people that if Donald Trump does falter, we're talking about a Cruz versus Rubio race, end of story?
I do think we are. I don't think Rand Paul's going anywhere. Chris Christie's not going anywhere. Huckabee had knee surgery in the middle of the campaign. I don't know how desperate, what kind of an emergency that was. I think it does boil down to Cruz and Rubio. And I think one reason why I hope that CNN sticks to their guns and doesn't pay the $5 million, as I'm like you, I'd like to see a debate without Donald Trump there, just so I can hear these other substantive candidates talk about issues and not about who's ugly, who's pretty, who's number 1 or number 5 in the polls, stuff that we don't care about. I want to hear some substance. And if you watch the debates closely, and I know this will make people who support Trump mad, but every time in these Republican debates, when it gets to a substantive issue, Donald Trump goes quiet. And so let's have a debate without him and see what these other candidates actually say.
All right, now I got about a minute left here, Rick. Here's the president on Tuesday predicting that a Democrat would keep control of the White House next fall, saying, quote, "I am confident in the wisdom of the American people on that front." Are you then, as the left side of this debate, as confident as the president is that it will be a Democrat? No doubt.
Yeah, actually, I really am. You can never say no doubt because you don't know what can happen between now and Election Day. But yes, I would put my money on that. But a big reason speaks to your last question, Ed. I think it's unrealistic to leave Trump out of the equation. If I had to bet the money today, I think Trump is going to be the Republican nominee based on the state polls I see, not the national poll.
Is Donald Trump becoming the GOP candidate, in your opinion, an absolute lock then for the Democrats to win the White House?
Yes, absolute lock.
All right, I got 25 seconds left. Mr. Brown, I'm going to let you have the last word on that. In your opinion, if Donald Trump is the candidate, does that mean the GOP loses to the Democrats?
I don't think so, because the one thing that we all want to ignore, but is the, no pun intended, elephant in the room, is that Trump is drawing huge crowds of both Republicans and Democrats. Now, in the general election, will that still hold true? I don't know. But if it does hold true, I don't think it's good news for Democrats. I think it's good news for Republicans.
Say what we want, gentlemen. We can sit here and pontificate all day long, but guess what? The man is still at the top of the polls, and until he starts to take a dive, then we really are just sitting here and guessing on things that we have no idea. Rick Ungar and Michael Brown, always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. Stay tuned. The Hard Line continues.